Hello, Internet. My name is Spencer. Everyone calls me Spenny. And here, today, we're talking about Xbox. And you might be thinking, why would anyone in their life swing an Xbox Series X around willy-nilly? And my answer to you is, for the longest time, this thing has been worth nothing to me. I bought this when it launched. I was beyond ecstatic to own one of these things because I've been a long-time Xbox fan. And with games like Halo Infinite on the horizon, I was like, I need to have it because this is where I've always played. Since then, I have barely used this thing to the point where it means so little to me that I would literally swing it around in my living room with one hand. And if you guys have never picked one of these up one-handed, it's a hefty little beast. So I'm going to put it down for now. But I just mean that if I was to happen to drop it, I wouldn't lose sleep about it. It's obviously worth money, and since I bought it at its original price, it's worth more money than I paid for it originally. But to me, that's not a good enough reason to own it. I don't own it to let it climb in value. I own it because Xbox is always where I've played. That's up until the last generation. Xbox has been my home for where I play video games. And it's changed a lot this gen because I mostly play on PC now and it's a much better experience, blah, blah, blah. This isn't the sales pitch. This is just to explain that, I was excited for Xbox to be back. I touched on my video about Summer Games Fest that, Xbox feels like it's back. This is the first showcase I've seen from them in a very long time where I was actually excited for games that they were going to release. And that, the idea of owning an Xbox actually seemed appealing again. Is it still something I would recommend people buy? No, but it felt like Xbox was finally making strides in the right direction, And I want to talk about some of the things that kind of have shooken out from them. So if you follow the news, gaming news at all, you know that Phil Spencer stepped down. Asha Sharma filled her shoes. She's, got a long history in AI. She had, a not checkered past in the sense that she did bad things, but just her track record of experience didn't really instill a lot of confidence in Xbox fans that she was going to be the one to lead them into the future. And in her first 100 days, I think she's done a lot of positive things, like decrease the price of Game Pass, maybe brought back some exclusives, and just kind of garnered a little bit of hype. And I think Xbox needed that hype more than anything. I don't think anyone's seen an Xbox product and thought, God, I need to buy that in so long. I mean, shit, they showed off that translucent green, 25-year anniversary edition Xbox Series X. And that was the first time in a long time where I was like, I actually want to buy that. That looks sick. It's such a throwback to the old original Xbox translucent green. And I don't know if you guys grew up on that shit, but I did. So it was just a heavy dose of nostalgia. And it just felt like that trailer that showed it off in the room, just kind of captured that 2000s vibe so well. And I was like, I want it. And then I was like, oh, I don't need it because I don't even need the one I have. So it's I think that hype is good because while the snap back to reality comes quick and I realize I don't need that thing, I also admire the fact that they made me feel excited about something. And I haven't felt that way in so long, like I said. And things like Fable not being an exclusive to Xbox is not it's not a huge deal to me. I don't care. I pre-ordered Fable on PlayStation 5 just because that's where my girlfriend and I share games on. If it wasn't for her, I would play it on PC, which I will because it's on Game Pass day one. So I'll play it on PC. She'll play it on PlayStation 5. We'll have a cool Fable statue for the shelf. I'll leave a link to all those collector's editions in the description below. If you haven't seen the collector's edition for the new Gears, Fable, and Halo, I highly recommend you go over to Xbox Game Studio Shop and check them out. They're expensive, but they're very cool. And this brings me back to the point that these are the first few Xbox products I've actually been excited to buy in so long. And I think that's worth a lot. And I know Asha Sharma has done some interviews, like if you want to watch them online, she did one with Bloomberg and stuff. And she's kind of talking about what is the next 100 days of Xbox, like her time at Xbox, really about. And it's about reorganizing Xbox as an entity to make them battle ready, to become the number one destination for gaming out there. And I think that's an admirable goal to shoot for, right? Like if you're going to play this game, play to win it. And I like this idea of bringing back console exclusives and whatnot. Like I'm not opposed to the console wars, not because I need to go online and just spew toxicity, but just this idea that like you have your camps, you're excited about the things that you can only play on those platforms, and it makes the rivalry between the platforms more advantageous for the players because they're working really hard to kind of incentivize you to buy their stuff because you get these offerings only there. And I think that competition is good. That's when people bring their best shit. They need to be prepared to fight. And I think part of that preparation kind of came out in a bunch of reports today where there's business insiders within Microsoft. They are kind of strategizing for what they could do for Xbox moving forward. And one of the ideas they're thinking about is spinning Xbox out into its own subsidiary of Microsoft. And a lot of people are, because they mention in their quote or in their plan that if they were to do that, it would be easier to sell Xbox in the future if that was a move they wanted to do. And I think a lot of people have jumped on this story because it's clickbaity. It's probably the reason you clicked on this video, right? Is that I'm going to be like, oh, they're going to sell, and this is the setup, and this is the fucking groundwork they needed to do in order to make that happen. And sure, it could be the case that shortly down the road, Microsoft looks to sell Xbox. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. They also talk about maybe forming some kind of partnership with another company to help Xbox succeed in the gaming business. So there's a lot of things being weighed, but I think people love to just see the thing that like they thought about selling it and then like that's the thing they're doing now. And now we got to talk about it because I'll get a couple more views on YouTube if I do. And I want to talk about it from my perspective. I'm not a business guy. I'm a blue collar dude. I'll be straight up with you. I couldn't understand anything about business if you asked me. All I know is the company I work for, we are compartmentalized aggressively. Like we are owned by, one big umbrella of a company. And within that company, we are compartmentalized into several smaller businesses, subsidiaries of our main thing. And the one real reason they do this is because it allows each of those businesses to operate independently from what the overall goal is. And it also allows the structure for the employees inside those businesses to be different from one another. Meaning that I could work at the same giant corporation who owns my company, but the other company they own could have completely different benefits, pay schedule, holidays. Like their structure is completely different. And I think that's important to note because one of the biggest issues Xbox has been facing for a long time is Microsoft has this, I don't know if I want to say like clause, but it has this idea that they never want to have an employee past 18 months. So they subcontract all their work to these individuals. And then after 18 months, they terminate them. It has something to do with healthcare restrictions in the States. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert. I just know that's the gist of it, is Microsoft would prefer not to offer whatever is available to these people after that window of 18 months. So they choose to let go of their contractors and then hire new ones. And this makes developing games that take, 6-7 years very, very hard. And you can read about it if you want to look hard enough online about how Halo Infinite struggled from this very thing. Is because you would have a subcontractor attached to a project for 2 years, they would, or almost 2 years, do amazing work, and then they would be gone. A new person has to come, fill their role, learn where they were doing. They could do things completely differently, rinse and repeat. Do this for numerous, spots within a team, and it becomes very, very hard to get anything done. Because I don't know if you've had any experience picking up somebody else's work. It can be frustrating. People do things differently. I myself don't have a very complicated job, but if I have to go behind one of my coworkers and pick up their work, sometimes it's immensely frustrating because they do things very bizarrely, in my opinion. And my job is not very technical. So I imagine something like game development is excruciatingly painful to go behind and try to pick up where somebody left off. Especially because you have to imagine when they contract these people, they're getting their best dudes, right? Like they're going to get the best cream of the crop guys at first because those are the people they want on their project to get it going. And then when those 18 months end, they're getting the next best guy they can get. And then when those 18 months end, they might try to get the next best guy. Like that's how I imagine it would go because they're not going to hire the guy that they just fired. I can't see that happening. Maybe that's happened. I can't speak to that. But it doesn't seem likely. And if I was the guy who got hired for 18 months and then fired, I wouldn't be too happy to go back there. So this creates a very turbulent work environment. And I bring all this up because I think, in my opinion, this idea to spin Xbox out of Microsoft into a standalone entity, sure, it makes them easier to sell, no doubt about it. It also allows them to maybe conduct business how Xbox needs to be conducted. Maybe that gets rid of this 18-month clause and it allows them to get long-term employees, build teams that can withstand the test of time, invest more in the things they think are important rather than following the agendas that Microsoft has set out for them. I want to believe that is the case because I want Xbox to truly be battle ready for the years ahead. I'm a longtime Xbox fan. Some of my favorite IPs I've ever touched are from Xbox. My shirt, the statues behind me, you'll see I'm a big Gears guy, big Halo fan. Like I said, I grew up on that shit. I played Project Gotham Racing when I was like 10 years old or something. It helped me shape who I am as a gamer. And I would like to believe that going forward, that is the approach, that they're not just solely looking at this as an option to sell rather than maybe it will give them the corporate flexibility to make Xbox better so it can finally start fixing the problems that have been just plaguing it for years. I mean, if you're an Xbox fan at all, you have to admit to yourself that things have not been great. Things like Game Pass, fantastic. It's sweet value for us, but it makes game development very tricky because they lose a lot of fucking money because nobody's spending money on physical games that often anymore. And when those games go straight to Game Pass, almost nobody is going to buy that game digitally, especially on the hardware that you've sold, right? So it makes for a very tricky space, man. And I don't know what I would do if I was them. But I know that I would try to start fixing some of the systemic issues that have plagued them for this last generation and before. And I would like to believe that that is what they're trying to do with toying with this idea of spinning Xbox out. And that's all I can really say to it. I'm not an expert. I don't want to ramble on for a half an hour. I just want to talk about how I'm an Xbox fan. I actually do think they're back. While this news is troubling and the potential of layoffs around the corner and potentially studios closing, we don't know what's going to happen, but the rumors are not great. But until those rumors are reality, I don't like to, start throwing rocks at them. I think Xbox has been doing a good job this last little while, turning it around, getting some positive buzz. The showcase at, Summer Games Fest was really a testament to that. And the bringing the translucent green back, fuck yeah, dude, almost tricked me into buying another console that I don't need. And I think that's great. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make it a video where I was talking about, yeah, I love Xbox. Yeah, I hope they're just getting battle ready. Let's not all jump off the fucking panic bridge and start saying they're going to sell immediately. I mean, I understand this is YouTube, right? It's the internet. You got to make the most clickable shit. You got to fucking sell the fear. You got to sell the anger, because those are the things that people gravitate to the most. I mean, I got another video coming about that, man. I started a new channel to make this stuff, and I watch YouTube content on that channel, and it is crazy what YouTube recommends me, having no like preconceived notion of what I typically watch as gaming content. But that's for another video. Hopefully this video made sense, guys. I just kind of wanted to talk about what the potential situation is, how Xbox is actually kind of back. Let me know if you guys think Xbox is back, but this is the most back it's felt in so goddamn long. And just hearing the speculation that they might sell or they might close the studio is not great, and I'll be the first guy to bitch about it if it does happen. But I just want to put it out there that there's other potential reasoning why they would do this. I think it's to help them streamline what they need to, so they can make great games, so you will want to buy their stuff going forward. But nevertheless, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video. It's YouTube. You know what to do if you want to do it. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.